You're watching NFL Daily, and it is mailbag time. Mitchell Renz, Chat Sports, ready and eager to answer all y'all's questions. Friendly reminder that this video is recorded on Monday, so if some stuff happens, don't shoot the messenger, as they say. But use hashtag NFL or Super Chat, get those questions, comments on the show. What up, Chris? Will we sign a defensive tackle with Lancaster done like Richardson? Personally, I really wasn't surprised that Lancaster didn't make the team. When I did my final 53-man roster projection video, I didn't have him making it, so him doesn't really impact it. When you look at the Raiders roster, you got Blough Nichols, Jonathan Hankins, then you got your two rookies in Neil Farrell Jr., Matthew Butler. Do they keep somebody like Kyle Petco? Perhaps. I do think they keep Andrew Billings, but to me, the Raiders have one of the weakest defensive interiors in the NFL, so Richardson's a name, and Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, they need interior help, no doubt about it. UNC Panther Sports, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC South with Trevor Lawrence MVP. I'll tell you what, I don't know what the payout of that is, but that's got to be a hell of a payout. Like, for Trevor Lawrence to win the NFL MVP, I do think that they would absolutely win the AFC South. What do you think, he's going to throw for 40 touchdowns? That's just, they don't have the receiving core for that to happen. To me, Jacksonville, if you can win 6 games this year, that's good. I like Trevor Lawrence. 6 games would be the goal for Jacksonville. Mr. Sports, who will be backup quarterback to Jared Goff, David Blough or Tim Boyle? Either one is super vanilla, dude. Like, this is one of those questions where I'm like, all right, you go to Ben & Jerry's. You can get any ice cream flavor you want. Jared Goff is chocolate. David Blough's vanilla. Tim Boyle is strawberry. And you're just leaving all these amazing flavors out there. Who's going to be the backup quarterback? Go ask Micro Mike on YouTube. That's my answer. What up, Sloppy Slimy? Could the Browns trade Kareem Hunt to the Commanders in wake of the Brian Robinson news? It's an interesting thing to think about. I don't think that they trust Antonio Gibson whatsoever. You still have J.D. McKissick, who's an interesting pass-catching running back. The question is, do the Commanders really truly believe that Kareem Hunt would be a good fit with them? I'm not necessarily sure. No doubt Kareem's got some off-the-field baggage that he's had in previous seasons, which is why the Chiefs let go of him. And if I'm the Commanders, maybe I don't want to bring that in because of all the issues I've had with my owner. Do I think he would help, though? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think that team right now maybe makes the most sense in terms of giving up the money? Also, yes. So, y'all, I don't know about y'all. I'm from Danville, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the 570. I would love to be able to take a trip back to my hometown, but you know what? Sometimes, unfortunately, we just can't have that happen. So all I want you to do right now, shout out your hometown, whether you're from the East Coast, West Coast, North, South. Shout out your hometown. I see Pokies from Fort Lauderdale. Then the RC Plane Builders from the ATL. Seriously, shout it out. Shout it to the 570. Let's go to the next Super Chat coming in here from Jose Delgado. Mitch, after the 53-man roster, do the Raiders have the chance to get a offensive right tackle, I believe is what you're going with here? Do they have a chance? Yes, absolutely. Should they? Yes, absolutely. And I do think a lot of times what you see with some NFL veterans in today's league, they wait until those 53-man roster cuts are made, and then they're like, okay, your moves have been made. I know what teams need me. I know what teams don't need me. And then that's when you sometimes see teams, they get desperate, and they're willing to offer a little bit extra money. If I'm the Raiders right now, though, I do not like the right side of my offensive line. It kind of frustrates me that they haven't done many things to change that. With a guy like Darrell Williams out there, make the move, make it happen. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He's by far the best offensive lineman as far as I'm concerned, still available. What up, Bevan? In fantasy, it's PPR. Should I get Trey Lance or Tua? I will say this. I don't know what PPR has to do with quarterbacks because neither of these guys are going to catch the football all that much. But I don't know why you're choosing between Trey Lance or Tua. Like, if you're in a 12-man league, I'm not going to try to get either of these guys because, to me, neither of these players are going to finish as a top 12 quarterback. But if you're like, you know what, man, I want to be the last person in my league to draft a quarterback, and these are the two, I'm probably going to pick Tua over Trey Lance. However, I do think Trey Lance has the higher upside because of his legs and because of his ability to actually run with the football. Now, not only do we make videos on YouTube, we provide free content over on Rumble as well. And if you're watching this live, we're going to be doing a Rumble after-hours show, so if you don't want to miss that, go to rumble.com/NFL Daily. Let's go to the next one. Coming in here, it's a super chat from Taylor Holland. If you're the Bucs, would you go for Jenkins or Wynn to move to guard? And if you flipped Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, would they have the same success? So you're saying Tevin Jenkins or Isaiah Wynn. If I'm the Buccaneers, I actually think Tevin Jenkins helps you out more because to me, Tevin Jenkins is more of a guard than Isaiah Wynn. However, I don't think that the Bears move on from Jenkins anymore. It looks like he's been playing pretty well. Isaiah Wynn, you would owe him $10.4 million in the final year of his contract. He's a tackle, though. Could he play interior? Maybe. But you're going to take a chance on a guy you're giving $10.4 and draft capital for. Don't know if that makes a lot of sense. And then flipped Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. I'll say yes and no. I still think I have watched Herbert play, and Herbert to me has shown that he is a top 7 quarterback in the league. His arm strength is there. His playmaking ability is there. But I do think Lawrence would have a lot more success if he was with the Chargers, and I do think Herbert would have a lot less success if he was with Jacksonville. E-Boy44, is Caleb McFarley going to get cut or traded? No, man, he's not. Like, I understand there's a lot of people that are frustrated with him because when you look at his tape from Virginia Tech, he looked like he could be one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Like, his athletic ability, his start-stop, he was incredible to me. When he first came out, I'm not kidding you, I was like, this kid reminds me a little bit of a Jalen Ramsey, somebody who I really, truly thought could take away a side of the field. The injuries are just really, really slowing him down. And even though this team has a lot of depth at the cornerback position, young depth, no, not going to get cut, and I don't think he gets traded either. But speaking of Farley, because if he did get cut, I'll tell you what, man, it would be a surprise. There's no doubt about that. So I want you to name a player that you believe right now could be a surprise cut or trade candidate with roster cuts coming up here on Tuesday at, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, August 30th. The Elite, Skylar Thompson, QB2. I agree. Like, not that I'm going to rip on Teddy Bridgewater because Bridgewater to me is a quarterback that I like a lot. But if I was Miami and I saw how Skylar Thompson just played, and I know I have a backup quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, I would look at Bridgewater as a trade piece. Like, Tua, you got to figure out what he is. Thompson has shown me that, yet again, in a great preseason game, throws for 3 touchdowns, he can be a reliable backup. He's understanding this McDaniel offense. So you move on from Bridgewater in wake of the news that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't going anywhere, because what if there was a team that was hoping, relying on the fact that, hey, we might be able to get Jimmy G. That's not going to happen anymore. Trade Bridgewater for a 5th-round pick. That's better than nothing, because if both of those guys are just sitting on the back of your bench, I don't know if it really helps you out all that much, man. So seriously, get free content from Chat Sports. Subscribe, hit that big red button, or give us a follow over on Rumble. Both of these links will be available for y'all in the comments and in the description of today's video. Hopefully you enjoy our content here. Let's go to, wow, boy. Crazy, is it Crazy Blade? Is the Sony Michel cut bad? Not necessarily. I think it just comes down to Mike McDaniel having a lot of running back depth. Also, Michel, he was traded to Los Angeles last year. He's had a lot of knee issues since coming out of Georgia. I just think it comes down to they have a lot of depth. They don't think he's really healthy all that much, and maybe they just simply didn't like what they saw. So, no, not really think it's a bad move. What up, Doorman? Rank the second-year quarterbacks. Oh, boy. So, my answer changes based on fantasy compared to just, like, straight-up quarterback play, because I'll say this. If it's fantasy, I'm always looking at overall upside, especially in a second-year quarterback. But when it really comes down to these guys here, Davis Mills is probably going to be last for me. Trevor Lawrence, let me go through all the names real quick here. Justin Fields is the guy that I like the most. However, he's in by far the worst situation. I'll say Mac Jones is probably going to win you the most games. Trey Lance is on the second-best team, so we'll go with him. I'll say Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then Davis Mills. But if I could pick out of any of the quarterbacks that I'd want to build a team around, I'd probably pick Justin Fields. He's just on a terrible team, man. Let's go to Lance. What up, Lance? Which teams would likely trade for Alexander Mattison? It's a good question. I would say right now in the wake of the news around Brian Robinson, the Commanders actually make some sense to me. I've had a few people ask me if the Raiders would because of the connections with Kennedy Polamalu, who was the old Vikings running backs coach. He's now with the Silver and Black. The Raiders have plenty of running back depth, so I don't know if that necessarily makes a lot of sense. I'll say Miami. Like, the fact that Miami moved on from Sony Michel, he fits what Mike McDaniel would try to do, so that's a team to keep in mind. Tampa Bay could be a team to keep in mind. Trying to think of some other teams. Seattle with Rashad Penny's injury, so maybe that's just a few names to keep in mind there. All right, since we're talking about running backs, Kareem Hunt usually always gets brought up here in terms of trade, so I wanted to ask y'all, will Kareem Hunt get traded? Why for yes and for no? I'm going to still sit up here and say that I do not believe it's going to happen. However, I do know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Boomer Miller, can the Chiefs get Robert Quinn? Can they? Yeah. Those two organizations have always had some ties with Chiefs in Chicago. Do I think it's a need for them? Not necessarily. Does it help? Yeah, absolutely in this division. The team that I think is the most likely, though, from that division to get Robert Quinn, I will say the Raiders because of the connection with Champ Kelly. Next question coming in here is from Alec G. Any chance Sue goes back to Detroit? If Detroit's willing to pay him, yes. I think at this point in Sue's career, he's already won a Super Bowl. He's looking to get paid. And if the report's out there that he's looking for $9 million, if Detroit was like, hey, I'll give you 10, then yes, I think he would go to Detroit. I just think he's trying to get the bag at this point of his career. Another team, though, that's been connected to Ndamukong Suh absolutely has been the Las Vegas Raiders. And if anybody wants to join my amazing locals community, you can scan this QR code right here. You're going to get free exclusive content from us. You're also going to get content that's not free, that you got to pay a membership for, but it's like insider info. If you want to see a video that I put out last week about roster bubble candidates with cuts coming up, you can check that out. If anybody out there loves fantasy football, I did my stat projections for Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. They're going to surprise a lot of people. That's all I got to say. So if you want to join, it's Raidersport.locals.com. Super chat time. This one's coming in from Nick. What up, man? Should Bengals trade Boyd or Higgins for an offensive lineman? No. I thought Cincinnati actually did a pretty good job this offseason of realizing, all right, this is what was our biggest weakness, O-line, and I thought that they went out and they addressed it. Your offense, you do not take any key position players away from Joe Burrow. You are in win now mode, and you have arguably the best receiver core from top to bottom, and also in terms of depth, and you have one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. So for that, I'll say no.